hearts to life's wild maze. She'll charm your soul in subtle ways. A little laughter, a little balm. Her words like waves, steady calm. So grab your hammock, sway to the tune, a cocktail of wisdom under the moon. She's got the answers, a touch of flair, life's big questions, handle with care. Night, night with Phee, where advice flows like the sea.
Hello, guys, and welcome to another Night with Phee right here on the Phee Smee Network. Tonight, we are celebrating episode number 100 for Night with Phee. So it is at 100 episodes. I wonder if we'll look back at episode 7,500 and think that wasn't a big deal. But 7 months and 3 days ago, we opened and had to document with over 400 videos in phase one what we were trying to accomplish here on the Phee Smee Network. Entering into phase two, you will see a tremendous increase in our content on different platforms and eventually driving all of the traffic to feesmee.com. I do appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Hit that share button. Subscribe, follow us, like us, love us. Do whatever you can to help us here at the Phee Smee Network. Tonight's topics on Night with Phee include: are 1/3 of teenage girls mentally insane? My 12 projects that my Lord gave me along with a vision on June the 24th, 2023. Parasites and vaccines. How the 12 sons of Jacob are the 12 tribes of Israel. How the wrath of Satan is different than the wrath of God. And increasing your dopamine right here, right now, on Night with Phee. I do appreciate you guys tuning into the Phee Smee Network tonight. Tonight's theology tip. You've heard often, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, in theology, I will tell you this. It's neither. It's what you know about who you know. It's total control. That is what the one world government, the beast system, that is what the one world religion, the United Nations by 2030 have an agenda for you to come under their control. So it's not who you know, and it's not what you know. It's what you know about who you know. And that's total control. You know, on June the 24th, 2023, my Lord gave me a vision, and I was carried off into the Spirit. People want to ask all the time, were you asleep? No, I was walking, and I'd spent 9 months on trying to cure through regenerative medicine all of these diseases, including the ones that I have or had during that time. This is life-changing projects, world-changing projects. These are not little projects. My Lord gave them to me, and with specific instructions that I didn't need to learn about them. I didn't need to hear about them. I had to go through them. Very dark, demonic forces. People that were influenced by Satan. Thought they were demons. Thought they were angels. Took mind-altering drugs. Very dangerous situations. The dark web and what's going on with teenagers and creating cults that will allow people to commit suicide and to kill themselves and to harm themselves on camera as other people cheer them on. Those are the type of behavioral science situations that I had to dive into. I had to find out about secret societies and things that I'd never cared about, to be honest with you. That in order to be able to coach you, I had to go through them. And from June the 24th, 2023 to December the 17th, 2023, my Lord's power was on me undeniably. Uh, the faith that I had, the situations that I was in, where I went, what I did, you won't believe. And any more probably than you believe I had a vision. I know that sounds strange, uh, but I will prove to you everything that I want to, some of the things that I can, in due time. I have all the evidence that I need, and it was an amazing journey. And as I continue on with my mission here at the Phee Smee Network for my Lord, He gave me understanding. And in Proverbs, it says, "Without vision, people perish." And the basic instructions before leaving Earth tell you that those with understanding must teach or preach. And I've been a coach all my life. And so, in order for me to be able to coach you and be prepared to do that properly, I went through some very, very wonderful, exciting times. I called it painful joy, just like I live in every day. So thankful that I have a purpose for my Lord, that I can serve. That's real joy. But knowing what's coming and seeing how it's going to affect people makes it painful joy. Because along with all the wonderful things my Lord did for me and during that time, it was still painful joy knowing what I was putting my family through, uh, knowing that what I had to accomplish did not and could not include anyone else. I lived in isolation from 2020 to 2023. I've done very little since 2023 other than coach and prepare for what I'm doing now. 100 episodes in on Night, gaining some traction. So excited, blessed, and thankful. But if you'll continue to tune in and tell your friends, it is the most important decision that you're going to make. You need to prioritize your eternal salvation over your physical life and death during these times. And we will continue to talk about those 12 projects. I have discussed here with you about the coffee filter that I have, the patented coffee filter. It is by far the best on the market. And it is the least valuable of all the 12 that I have. It's not important that I own any businesses because I don't have time for that. It's important that I guide and direct the Phee Smee Network in an arena that I haven't played in a lot. And there's a lot of landmines that are going on in order for me to get all of these things out. You can't go through proper channels in order to do these things unless you have powerful people on your side. So that is something that you guys can look forward to, as I will share each one of those as time goes on and things get closer. Remember, we don't give the game plan away on Tuesday, what we're going to do on Saturday. So we're always going to stay ahead of the curve here on the Phee Smee Network. And if you'll stay tuned and prioritize what I tell you to do, then I can assure you it will be the best decision that you've made. You know, what they've done since the 1970s to us health-wise is unbelievable. our lives today are a direct reflection on the policies that were implemented in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. These vaccinations are now coming to light. A lot of negative and dangerous side effects and reasons why we are so unhealthy. When my Lord gave me this vision on June the 24th, 2023, I had spent 9 months prior to that on regenerative medicine. And I had studied and believed that I had found the cures for most of these diseases. What brought me to uh, this conclusion is parasites. Parasites have been overlooked by the medical community for several years. And as I kept diving into um, neurotransmitters and your hormones, basically the pathways, the nutrients from the liver to the brain to the thyroid, I kept coming up with all of these parasites. Now, of course, I do a lot of studying now. I have to be prepared for this, but I ran across this report, and this lady named Robin Goff, Goffe, and it just confirmed again that this woman knows what she's talking about. And I'd just like to read to you some of the things that Robin Goff discusses. Why are parasites in vaccines? Vaccinations are inoculated into your body with weakened or dead parasites or parasite eggs. Okay. They're telling you that they're going to give you this vaccine. And with this vaccine is parasites. Now, here are some of the reasons why they believe that parasites entering into your body through vaccines are good for you. So, why? Well, that would depend on what page you were reading in the report. One, introducing a small quantity of parasite excretions is sufficient to give the body passive immunity. So now that's one reason that they are giving us parasites. You know, when I started this, the law of large numbers told me all of these autoimmune diseases, all this autism, all of these things, it has to be one of three things. One, it's the water. Two, it's the food. Three, it's the vaccines. It made perfect sense to me. I didn't have to spend a lot of time on it. In reality, it's all three. Your water treatment plants don't take out certain estrogens and different hormones. Your food, they give you artificial flavoring, artificial coloring, things that are banned in other countries. You don't know what you're eating or what's in it. They get around the labeling by the binding agents, and they just corrupt, is what they are. But the second you just go through a couple more pages, it says another one is that each parasite symptom are different per individual. Do you think that might be why it takes 3.5 years to diagnose an autoimmune disease? You think maybe that has something to do with it? Because per patient, each symptom is different. So they try this medicine, this diagnosis, this medicine. It puts the patient in total despair. 5, 6, 7 years of misery, of pain, of not knowing what's wrong with you. That'll increase your stress levels. I've been sick or was sick for several years. It will change your priorities. Pain, uh, suffering, tired, fatigue. Uh, it messes with you. Your stress levels with your hormones and what all of your different key components of your body. It just doesn't work long term. So they've introduced parasites in vaccines. So I know some of you guys, you don't know me. You think, well, he's just, he's constantly on these vaccines. But, you know, the, our president last January the 25th, I think he took office then. Executive orders on January 20th, 2025, abolish all vaccine mandates. There's the first day that President Trump was in office. Executive order, abolish all vaccine mandates. Well, why would they do that if they didn't know that we had been duped and fooled and that they were causing all kinds of problems? Repeal the 1986 Vax Immunity Law. Sounds like they're trying to change the vaccination laws. Executive order, first day of office. We're going to abolish all vaccine mandates. We're going to repeal the 1986 Vax Immunity Law. We're going to ban fluoridation everywhere. How long have they been putting fluoride in your water? Reorganize, and I like this one, reorganize the FDA, the FTC, and the CDC. Well, see, the FDA is made up of 75% of big pharma employees. Very big lobby. I like to reorganize the FDA, FTC, and the CDC that not only makes viruses and the vaccines that will obviously take care of them. We're going to ban toxic ingredients in food. No wonder why they would ban the toxic ingredients in food if there weren't any in it. For years and years and years. First day, let's ban toxic ingredients in food. I got an idea. How about we already have done that years ago? Does that make sense? Let's just ban the poisons from our food. Makes sense to me. Ban GMO, that's genetically modified food and toxic pesticides. Why are they there? They shift the culture by they say this product may include GMO foods. It may include. Before long, they're going to be saying it may include this. It may include that. Not necessarily that it does, just the old labeling. The old labeling. Allow natural remedies to flourish. Boy, wouldn't that be great? Not rely on pharmacy, but to rely on medicine, herbs, plants, healthy food with nutrients, soils that have nutrients. All these seedless vegetables and seedless fruits, you guys have no idea what they're trying to do. They're trying to have a world without seeds to where they control who gets to eat what. The rich get this diet. You get this. Eliminate the seeds, just like they did with the crops. Made them buy the seeds from them. Genetically engineered to where they wouldn't grow but one season. Pesticides all over to strip the soil of nutrients. They're not that stupid. These are professionals, biochemists. These folks, look, I know a whole lot about what I'm talking about. And I don't have any medical degree in this area, but I have extensive knowledge and I have had plenty of repetition when it comes to what these folks are trying to accomplish. Just think of it. They don't want seeds. So now they want to throw to you, they want to market to you how seedless this and seedless that is better than seeds in watermelon, seeds in grapes, seeds in tomatoes. Seedless. Control the food supply, you control the people. Recognize vaccines cause autism. Well, I just had a night show recently about that. How the CDC now has starting an investigation on it. Sounds like to me that in January 2025, that the executive orders included recognizing vaccines cause autism. Allow natural remedies to flourish. Ban GMO food and toxic pesticides. Recognize vaccine injury and death. Ban toxic ingredients in food. Reorganize the FDA, the FTC, and the CDC. Ban fluoridation everywhere. Repeal the 1986 Vax-Immunity Law. And abolish all vaccine mandates. Sounds like that we are completely on the opposite side of the fence than we were 2 years ago. And it seems like to me that we're on the complete opposite side of the universe when it comes to the United Nations, who's taking all of the sovereignty from the countries and in their World Health Organization will mandate the vaccines. And if you don't take them, they will restrict your food, your travel, your carbon footprint, what you can do and what you can't. And that's by 2030. Now, in Miss Robin Goff, when she was reading this, I got a real interesting. Here's what's interesting. What effects parasites have on your body is devastating. Parasite eggs can cause lung disease. Parasites that are in the vaccines injected into humans, and the parasite eggs turn into larvae and move into the lungs. And get this, parasites cannot be adequately diagnosed. Right now, folks, people are being diagnosed with cancer. I told you 3 months ago on one of my podcasts. They're being diagnosed with cancer when they have parasites. You've got to get yourself over a pH level of 7 in an alkaline diet, and you'll kill these parasites and kill this cancer. It's tough to do because you're not getting that in your diet. And your medicines are stripping your natural hormones and depleting some, eliminating others. But here's what really bothered me. I'm going to say this several times while you get it. Children used in experiments along with rats and other animals with exposure to parasite larvae eggs caused successful fatalities. I'll read it again. Children used in experiments along with rats and other animals with exposure to parasite larva eggs caused successful fatalities. One more time. Children used in experiments along with rats and other animals with exposure to parasite larva eggs caused successful fatalities. After introducing parasite eggs into the body, it can be found everywhere: eyes, brain, liver, kidneys, lungs, pancreas, appendix, bones, skin, and nervous system. Parasites introduced in our food, introduced in our water, and purposely to give us passive immunity. With them doing experiments on children that were successfully fatalied, because I can't say the other word, unalived, as you folks love it on the social media platforms. Parasites and vaccines. And I think you're going to find, I'd take this for what it's worth today with old Phee. In the future, I think you're going to find that the COVID vaccine had nanobots in it that even after 18 and 24 months are self replicating inside your body, moving to at some point will be able to allow folks to determine whether you live or die. Complete and total obedience and control. Watch what you put in your body, no matter what they tell you. Don't just line up, because they're fixing to hit you with this flu, the bird flu, the chicken virus. They've already got the cow disease. They got the ticks that have been lab made to get in your cow's bloodstreams. Now you got the whole South states having outbreaks of disease that they just name. Comes from people eating beef that had ticks. Now you've got lab-made mosquitoes. You ought to see the longer dadgum stem that are going to infect people and cause deadly diseases. They've changed the name of virus, or the definition of virus, for 267 years. It was a Latin word. People think if you can speak Latin that you're smarter, so that's why doctors and lawyers are taught Latin. It's 350 plus years, virus was known as a venom, mostly from snakes, scorpions, and spiders, a poison. And now all these different viruses, there's a new name, a new definition for them on the CDC. So now they've changed again with these vaccines. But as your president's first day, January 20, 2025, almost a year ago, that's what he wanted to do because he knew that was a problem. So when I'm telling you it's a problem, you should realize that the federal government knows it. And you're still having to deal with it. And I don't know if they don't know how to fix it, or if it's going to take a long time to fix it, or if it can ever be fixed. Modern medicine, technology, reversing things, they're going to do it with regenerative medicine, 3D printed organs, human consciousness, neural links. They're going to do, I mean, it's amazing what's out there, and you're 30 years behind most of the time. Parasites and vaccines, medicine, water, food. Just think of the basic necessities that we need to live. And that's how they're going to try to eliminate us. Studies have been done where after 1 year of an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, has the same devastation as a nuclear weapon, but there's no explosions when it comes to that. But it fries all your solar panels in your cars, and you're not going to have your generators that'll work thinking they work. Uh, you got a real tough time if they take your food and your water and your utilities. And studies show that within 3 days, there'll be all kinds of rioting. And within 3 weeks, people will know nobody's coming to help them. And within a year, 90% of America would be dead. Now, that's not going to happen because we're going to prepare for what's coming. And my Lord's going to give me the opportunity to implement some things that are going to help you. And I'm going to be able to show you some things in math and science that are going to be able to help you. But water, food, utilities, medicine, those are the things that you need to concern yourself with. And my 12 products include some of those. They knew what they were doing. They proved that when they had children being used in experiments, and they called them successful fatalities. Complete control. It's amazing. If you think that's amazing, let's go to the next one. My favorite, besides the FDA, the CDC has come out with a report. And this comes from Jonica. So I'll give that credit because I have this right here is the name of the article. Study shows 1 in every 3 girls are mentally insane. They got 33% of teenagers being mentally insane. Is that not labeling to you? Have you not been a teenager? Do you understand? I'm going to have to do a whole podcast on going through puberty, both boys and girls, and how it's so important during that time for you to have the nutrients and the right hormones and not be on medicines to mask certain things. 33% they're trying to convince people that have a mental illness. I would say 33% of them definitely have anxiety. I would say 33% of them definitely have insecure issues based on social media, based on them thinking that they've got new standards for beauty, or the being bullied, not having the connections, but having the friends, living one life in front of in social media, and then being miserable and not be productive or happy. But man, teenagers, I love being a teenager. I told my kids, you're going to spend the rest of your life working. You need to spend the first 15, 18 years enjoying life, having fun, and learning responsibilities in order to go out and be productive citizens. And they have done that. But you're not going to make me ever believe that a third of teenagers are mentally insane. So let's read the exact. A new report from the CDC reveals a disturbing trend. 1 in 3 teenage girls in the U.S. reported experiencing serious mental health struggles in 2023. Rates of depression, anxiety, and self-harm have hit record highs, driven largely by social media. Experts say Gen Z girls are facing unprecedented emotional pressure. The constant exposure to unrealistic beauty standards, online harassment, and academic burnout are fueling the crisis. Is it society that's failing these girls, or are we just now talking about what's been ignored for decades? These antidepressant drugs that they're marketing, and these SSRIs are you just need to do the homework. Your suicide rate, uh, it's a it's a rough house world. But I don't believe that a third of teenage girls or a third of teenage boys are mentally insane. Or I think that they cope with today's environment. I remember telling my kids, I always told them, I've been 15. You've never been 47. I've been 12. You've never been 38. One time, my youngest daughter, I said, I've been 17 or I've been 16, and you've never been 51. And she said, no, you ain't never been 17 girl with social media living in today's age. And I looked at her and I said, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. It's a new age with the social media. I deal with it with parents and coaching and students that are elites, and they deal with a whole lot of it. In life, you deal with a whole lot of it. I read an article today that said that 1 out of every 10 brides have sex with the stripper the night before they're married. And then on the comments underneath, it said, the that happens. I was a stripper for so many years. That happens much more than 1 out of 10. Mostly with the bridegrooms. I mean, the bridesmaids, but some with the brides. And the next comment comes down. Happens more with the brides. I still have them call me and say after the marriage and say, "Hey, my husband's gone for the weekend. Are you available?" That's love growing cold. But first thing I thought of is, wouldn't you hate to be that guy? Then I just thought, how many dudes on their night before they're getting married are having sex with strippers? Now, there was a lot of things in my life, but I, I never went to strip clubs and didn't do that. Didn't do that arena. And I had a funny joke for that. When anytime people would say, you want to go here, you want to do this, I'd say, no, I don't pay for that. And now I look back on it, and that was the wrong thing to say and the wrong way to act. But it is what it is, and yesterday's gone forever. But wouldn't you hate to be the bride or the groom that the night before they're getting married, they're spanking it with somebody else? That is today's culture. People just listed comment after comment after comment, just agreeing and agreeing and agreeing. Women get mad saying, well, it happens just as much, if not more, with the guys. I've talked to you about 18 to 24-year-old boys never asking somebody out on a date. 50% of them have never asked anybody on a date. And these girls are having all kinds of these hormonal problems, and they're having stress and anxiety because of this social media and all these things. I've talked to you about the 3 hours. Don't eat 3 hours before you go to bed. Don't drink anything 2 hours before you go to bed. And put that phone down 1 hour before you go to bed. I don't have the opportunity to do that because I work in the evening and I work in the morning, so I don't like the amount of time I'm using on it. I never have done that in the past, and now I do it. So whenever somebody says they don't do that until they do, then you'll know that's Phee. Uh, so uh, it just amazes me that you got problems with getting pregnant. You got problems with folks getting married. You got all kinds of problems with health and diet. Now you're overstressed and have total anxiety. And now people are putting out reports saying that a third of teenage girls are mentally ill, having mental health issues. Well, there's a whole lot of difference in a mental health issue and feeling stressed than there is being, needing prescriptions or being labeled or diagnosed mentally ill or mentally insane. I just don't. I don't think that's right. I think it's a marketing ploy. I think it's to get more people exposed to people thinking this is what they have to do. The culture is shifted to where we have to take this. Started in the 70s. He's sick, well, we got to take him to the doctor. Doctors were revered in the 70s like pilots were in the 60s. Boy, people just thought they were unbelievable. But you got problems with women and men. 7 out of 10 of them cheating on their spouses. 55% of divorce rate for first-time marriages. You got kids now having all kinds of stress levels and emotionally unstable, mentally, academically flawed, haven't been educated properly. Difficult time, and I would say that they've got us just where they think they want us. I would think Satan, if you read the Paul Harvey thing years and years ago, that everything that he said if he was Satan, he would have done, they've done. And there's going to be a great revival, a great spiritual awakening. This thing's being, going to be seen by 500 or 600 people. One of these days it'll be seen by 60,000. The next time it'll be seen by 600,000. The next time it'll be seen by 5 million. And that's how those things work. But labeling, marketing of pharmacies and prescription drugs through studies like this, who paid for the study? I bet a pharmaceutical company funded it. Amazing how many foreign governments funded studies for our prominent universities and then took all of the research because they funded it, they had access to it, and are now going to use it against us for years. All in the name of democracy, when in reality it's capitalism. I'll take their money and I'll justify it, or I don't care, or I'm on their team. It doesn't make any difference. It's still the end results. Like I try to tell people, it's not whose fault it is. We all share responsibilities. I'm here to solve problems and to let you know how to maneuver your way through these times because it just keeps getting worse. We've got to prepare in order to try to just become stable. Get some nutrients, the basics, food, water, know what we're eating. Get off this grid. I gave them perpetual motion energy technology in the 8th grade that would have eliminated all utility companies. Just like an air conditioner sitting out in the backyard, you'd have just a unit just like that would give you all the electricity you needed. Now you got to put in glass. You power a car with the windshields. You don't want energy. It's not going to go away for petroleum because petroleum and oil is in everything you eat, drink, use, everything. So that's what's going to be. Fossil fuels. How many dinosaurs were on the earth? These folks just the foundational truths of what we've been taught is amazing to me. It's amazing. Increasing your dopamine. Well, dopamine. You hear that a lot. Dopamine, I got a kick out of the chemical compound for it. I actually counted the letters. When I looked at it, I can normally look at something and be pretty quick on it. I looked at it and I said, that's more letters than the alphabet. And so then I counted the letters. I was wrong. There's 24 letters, not 26. So anyway, dopamine. In biochemistry, a compound present in the body as a neurotransmitter and a precursor of other substances, including epinephrine. Epinephrine. I said it so many times today that it amazes me when I looked at it, I couldn't say epinephrine, 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 including epinephrine. Alternative name, dihydroxyphenylethylamine. That's dihydroxyphenylethylamine. To dumb it down, in the 1950s, they put a DOPA, D-O-P-A, with amine, A-M-I-N-E, and that was the chemical compound. Well, epinephrine, I finally said it right, epinephrine and dopamine are adrenalins. And adrenalins are hormones and neurotransmitters. Now, you've heard of all the EPINs. Those are adrenalins for allergies or heart attacks or cardiac arrest. Any type of thing that they're trying to cut the symptoms immediately. Whether it's they'll put up with the rapid heart rate or the high blood pressure. The sweats, what they're trying to do is it's life-threatening medication. But if it's not used in medication for life-threatening, it's a neurotransmitter, and it's dopamine and epinephrine. There you go. Yeah. Dopamine and epinephrine are adrenaline. So we know that, and I struggle with that. But how do you get dopamine and epinephrine, energy hormones, which are happy hormones? You can run or have a brisk walk. I walked over 10,500 steps in 2024. And in 2023, I said, if I live, I'm going to learn how to play golf. And in 2024, I said, if I live, which I knew I was going to live in 2024, but I said I'm going to walk at least 10,000 steps a day. And I want to do that basically by playing golf, because I just don't like to walk. I like to compete. I wasn't trying to get in the gym to exercise. I wanted to play in the game. So that's why I worked out. But other people have different agendas and priorities. But anyway, I walked 10,600 steps a year. This year, over 1 million less steps, because I'm not getting the sunlight. I'm not getting the walking. And I can feel the energy levels. You have to have sunlight. Yeah, right now I don't look near as good as I used to look in the summer or the last year before then, because I was out in the sun every day. It was important to me to make sure that I breathed fresh air, not air-conditioned air, not heated air. I needed to get outside. It was very important that you really understand the healing process of the body starts with oxygenating the blood. You need sunlight. You need oxygen. And so sunlight's important. But to increase your dopamine, you can run. I've had 5 knee surgeries. I've got a bad hip. I'm not going to be running, and I don't hike on unlevel grounds a lot or something like that. I choose not to do because of the knee and the hip. Uh, but bottom line is, if you can run, if you can do a brisk walk, if you'll get out in the sunshine, if you'll meditate, if you'll study the Word of God or meditate out in the sunlight in complete quiet, uh, that'll help you. Do nothing sometimes. Give yourself some free time. Give yourself some fun time. Uh, Stay away from that phone as much as possible. Trust me, I'm having to do a lot of work on this news and all these other things because I'm new in this arena. You let me do that. You read the Word of God. That's more important than letting other people tell you things that you might believe because based on you were taught. And what's important now is that you really get into the Word of God, the basic instructions before leaving Earth. And start in Matthew if you don't want to read the Old Testament, but then get back to Daniel and all the prophets and understand the beginning from the end. But that's what I would tell you to spend your time on. But always have some free time. And if you'll go with that 3, 2, 1, don't eat anything 3 hours, don't drink anything 2 hours, and put that phone down for an hour before you go to bed, you'll get some deep sleep. And you need deep sleep for you to have dopamine or epinephrine. You need those hormones and those neurotransmitters. What you don't need is a synthetic epinephrine or the synthetic adrenalines or the synthetic dopamines. And what you don't need them to do is to redirect them to different transmitters, and because then the thyroid has problems with them. And so they're all connected in the human body. It is important that you realize that there are ways to get it. I would tell you that lifting weights, it's not something I do, but lifting weights would help you. It's a resistance with your muscles, and it's training those. Experience new things. It's always exciting to do new things. Always exciting. I tell you guys, you need to find, especially with your spouses, creative things to do. My oldest son, when he came home from Christmas with all my other children. He had just a craft. Now it was basically, little yarn Christmas trees with balls you glued on with hot glue, and you could hang them on your Christmas tree when you got through with them. We just had a real good time just doing that as a family. Now you can incorporate those same things. I am, even with a knee and my hip, sooner or later, I love to dance. I'm going to learn how to ballroom dance. And that's something that I want to do. But you guys need to, take an art class together. Do something weird or goofy as a couple that you guys can just enjoy doing. It's put together a puzzle together. Spend some time together. And then when you wake up the next morning, remember to hit that snooze, set an alarm, wake up with a purpose. And hit that snooze and don't go back to sleep. Just stay quiet in darkness and get your mind right. Get the right frame of mind, the right attitude of gratitude for being able to wake up, for having another day to serve, to glorify. And if you'll start your day like that, you'll have more peace. The day's going to go through, and you're going to have some good days and some bad days. It's like, I told people when I was just, sick as a dog, and I started getting better, and people just couldn't believe it, and I kept getting better and better, and the doctors couldn't believe it. And it was amazing to everybody but me, because my Lord just told me, go to work, and you have a lack of faith. 3 months after I wasn't supposed to live through the night, I was just, in a pity party crying to my Lord saying, I'm sorry for not living the life I should have. And please just let me see one grandchild before I die. And my Lord just basically just said, what lack of faith? Go to work with the gifts I've given you. I've got a plan for your life. You'll see all your grandkids. Go to work. I was sitting in a jacuzzi. It wasn't a vision. Just in my spirit, I just thought, go to work. Okay. I didn't sleep 2 hours for the next 9 months. I'd sleep an hour and a half, 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Then I'd sleep 11 hours. Then I'd go the next week, hour and a half, 2 hours. And I loved it. I just became a dadgum, you know, mad scientist, research scientist. I just found a love. And then he gave me this vision. Now I'm in the biblical prophecy that I'm just absolutely loving. That's the most important thing that I could be doing. Great. Just awesome that I'm sitting here today. So, yes, I believe in the dopamine. I believe in the serotonin. I believe in all that. But if you'll experience new things, and, sometimes it's just good to be bored too. Sometimes it's just good to look out the window and look at the birds. It's amazing how I didn't live my life. Sometimes I just love being on the golf course, just looking in the sky, looking at the clouds, looking at the trees, just looking at all the energy. I like the water. I just love the water. I always love water. Love water fountains. Love moving water. Love the beach. Loved it all my life. Now you just be thankful. I go in the backyard, look at these big trees, and I think, Lord, how this earth's going to change. How in the world? I mean, 2025 years since my Lord's was crucified. 6,000, 8,000, however long they want to go back, say it, for the written time and how long Genesis was. And it's just say 6,000 years, that's 8,000 years. It's fixing to come to an end, and he's going to start another one. It's amazing. But, yeah, increase your dopamine, your epinephrine. Get them some natural, no synthetic. Get them naturally. Oh, Jacob's 12 sons, being the tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel. That's a holy war going back to Abraham, going back to Genesis with Joseph's dreams, and just going to end up. My Lord knows the end from the beginning, and my Lord Jesus was born in Bethlehem. The whole book of the Bible was written by Jews, and now the whole world's going to turn against the Jews, including a lot of the churches in the United States, a lot of the people in the United States. They already have, and it will continue to get worse. Civil war and civil unrest and cyber attacks and terrorist attacks are happening. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve, and they've stopped some more of them. Let's hope they get them all this year. A day will become to where they will be orchestrated, and it's just going to continue to get worse for us. But we're going to win. We're prepared in our military. That as President Trump had executive orders last January 20th, knowing about all these vaccinations. He knows about what's coming, and he's got the proper intelligence to handle it. And we're going to do the best we can to prepare for it as it moves on. And it's not going to happen tomorrow from a worldwide event unless, it shakes up. I expect there to be some. Last year it was New Orleans and Las Vegas. But be careful out there. But you've got the woman with the 12 stars is Israel. And the people will argue that's Mary. And then Jesus is the man-child. They'll argue that Satan's China or Hamas. It's Satan himself. All of this will take place in a physical realm where you can see, and I don't understand if people get that. These folks are going to be possessed, influenced by demons, just as people are now. And They don't use. They're not going to come out and they're not going to fight the battle of Armageddon with all angels and demons. They're going to be a physical presence there, armies, people, and most of them possessed, most of them controlled by a beast system, which is given power by Satan to a one world government, a one world religion, and you're fighting against the people they have flesh and blood, but that's not what you're fighting against. You're fighting against is what they're influenced by, possessed by. So as the whole world turns against the Jews, remember that the basic instructions before leaving earth were written by Jews. The first church are Jews and Gentiles. The last church will be Jews and Gentiles. My Lord has 144,000 of them. The rest of them, when my Lord steps foot on the Mount of Olives and shows them his hands, then they're going to be saved. They're going to have to go through the 1,000 years. They're going to live a life as mortals during that time, but they're going to be saved. You're already going to be raptured before the Battle of Armageddon if you're a child of God. So we have to remember that. I don't want to talk about how bad this government is or how bad these people are or how they influence this or how they do all these things. Okay. The God of Abraham. My Lord loves Jerusalem. He's going to set up his kingdom in Jerusalem. He's coming back in the middle of Jerusalem. The whole world's going to be trying to invade and conquer Jerusalem for 3.5 years. And the United States and Israel are going to hold them off. And just as it's over with, my Lord's going to come back and win. But we've got to be able to understand the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the Messiah that I accepted as my Lord and Savior, they rejected. And look at what Romans 11:7-8 says. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. According as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears they should not hear, until this day. Now, if God's just throwing away the Jews and the church have replaced the Jews, why does it say, until that day, he's put a blindness, scales over their eyes? That except for the 144,000, the rest of them, they're worshiping God. We're not talking about the synagogue of Satan. We're not talking about the folks that act like they're Jews. We know there's folks out there. We're not talking about the Talmud. You know, the Quran you've got with Islam. You've got the Torah with the Jews. And then you've got the Talmud. We have the basic instructions before leaving earth. And it's been dealt with. But we can't forget that Jesus is the King of the Jews. I'm a coach. Get on that team. Stay on that team. And don't waver away from that team, because I have seen it. I have seen World War III. I have seen the wrath of Satan. And I have seen what happens if you take that mark. And that's just the first vial. Now, the wrath of Satan and the wrath of God. You hear about God's 7-year tribulation that Christians will not be there for. That they're going to be raptured out, and then my Lord is going to have his 7-year tribulation. That is inaccurate. The basic instructions before leaving earth will tell you time and time and time and time and time and time again. that it is the wrath of Satan, and it is 3.5 years. There is a war in heaven. Michael and his archangels defeat Satan, casting him out. The, the people in heaven rejoice and celebrate, for the accuser is gone and cast out. But woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because Satan comes down with his demons for 42 months, for 3.5 years. 4 times and a half, 3.5 years. 1,260 days, 3.5 years. I've done podcasts before showing you the different time periods and the different, what the definition of the time meant. And when you look at the seals and you look at the trumpets and you look at the vials, all of those will be finished at the same time at the Battle of Armageddon. But they came out at different times. And the seals came out first with the spirits of the ideologies that will be here when my Lord comes back. The 5th seal will start at that 2-year, 7-year temporary peace plan. And the 6th and 7th seal will be at the Battle of Armageddon. Your trumpets came out later, with World War I being the first trumpet. And the 6th trumpet is World War III, where 4 angels are loosed out of the Euphrates River to kill or to slay 1/3 of man. 2.7 billion people. That's nuclear war. That's World War III. That's coming. And it'll start out of that region and that area. Okay. So 3.5 years is the wrath of Satan. And the 6th trumpet, 5 trumpets have gone. 6th trumpet is World War III. Then the 7th trumpet. And remember, you've got 3.5 years. Midway through that 7-year temporary peace plan, you're going to have the Antichrist stand that temple. You're going to have him stop those daily sacrifices, breaking that covenant. Then you're going to have 3.5 years of that beast system, that one world government, with Satan totally possess the Antichrist with all this control and power, persecute the Christians, the elect, the saints. But when those 2 prophets in sackcloth that are prophesying and doing all kinds of things to deter deter the Satan from taking Jerusalem. When they lay dead in the streets and people celebrate for 3.5 years, the very next verse is my Lord's second coming. So you've got the seals finishing at the Battle of Armageddon. The 7th trumpet, my Lord comes and fights at the Battle of Armageddon. But the vials, now you're talking about the wrath of God. And the wrath of God, the first vial for the folks that saw that took that mark. And right before you are raptured, you're going to see those people. And you're not going to be here. You're not going to be affected because you didn't take the mark, but you're going to see that. Then you're going to be gone. And the vials of the wrath of God, you don't want to be here for that. You're not going to be here for that if you're a child of God, if you're an elect, if you're a saint. So there's a difference in the wrath of Satan and the wrath of God. And when his fury comes up in his face, you're going to see what he does, because he's already won. Read the end of the book. We win. That's the team you want to be on. I appreciate you guys tuning in to Night with Phee again tonight. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. I hope you stay home, or I hope you stay in parties that are in homes or in small venues. I hope you're not in big cities, out in public places, but I know millions of you will be, and I pray that you'll be safe. God bless you guys, and thank you for tuning in to Phee Smee's Network. I think we'll have a surprise later on this week, and somebody will come and visit with you and have a show, and he's looking forward to it. And I do appreciate you guys. Have a happy new year, 2026. Wow. I think we're going to have a fun year in a lot of ways, and I'm blessed to be here. Remember, guys, no matter what you're doing, you're missing something. So let's make what we're doing worth what we're missing. God bless you guys. Night, night.
Take a sip, set your heart out to sea. Night, night with Phee, where the answers might be. A breeze of wisdom drifts across the shore. Stories unraveled like seashells to explore. Every word